Hey everyone, it's Average Gatsby, and welcome to my soldier guide. This time I'm going to be talking about the Widow Sniper Rifle. Now, the Widow is really going to make you more of a back row player as a soldier, but it's not really the same as sniping as an infiltrator. I see a lot of debate on which class is a better sniper, and I don't really think that that's the way to think about it, because I don't think of either of these classes that can get the Widow as sniper classes. They have access to the most powerful sniper rifle, but I don't think that makes them into a sniper class. For your soldier, things are a little bit trickier as far as using the sniper rifle. You really want to make sure that every time you shoot, it's a headshot, of course, with the Widow, because you only have 13 rounds before you're completely out of ammo. But the soldier does not have the time slowdown advantage every time he scopes in. That can be a pretty big difference. I'd say the biggest example of when something like this happens, where as a infiltrator you'll scope in and see the enemy, and he might be shooting at you or something, but you'll still be able to pop off the headshot because you've got the time slowdown, and even if you get shot and your aim goes off a little bit, you'll still be able to compensate and make the headshot. That won't happen for the soldier. When you're firing, and this is firing without using Adrenaline Rush, but when you're firing without using Adrenaline Rush, even just the slightest movement can cause you to miss that headshot and make an instant kill, not an instant kill, and suddenly have it be a lot less effective. I recommend that you snipe as often as you can with Adrenaline Rush activated, and I highly recommend you take Heightened. You're going to see Heightened's power throughout this video. There's many instances where I'm going to be killing enemies in one less shot than had I used Hardened Adrenaline Rush, and while that may not make a lot of difference for other weapons, for the Viper, when you only have 13 bullets, it makes a really big difference. One thing about sniping with the soldier is you kind of want to start developing a little bit better habits as a sniper, and one of those is sighting in on the target preemptively. When you're playing as an infiltrator, the time slowdown really makes you rely a lot on that enemy being slow, and so you don't really take the time to set up your shots, and instead you use it more as a you find the target after scoping in, or instead of before. I'd recommend, as a soldier, you try as much as possible not to be moving at all when you're sniping, and always sniping from cover, and try to make sure that you have a stable platform. If you're being shot, don't take the shot. Wait the half second or second for your Adrenaline Rush to quit cooling down, and then take the Adrenaline Rush shot. You really do not want to miss, and you want to get in the habit of only firing when a headshot is assured. You'll also see in this video, I am using my other weapons. The Widow is a fantastic weapon, but you are going to be running out of ammo. And there's going to be plenty of situations where you're going to be in such close range to the enemy that you're not really going to need to use the Widow. Enemies that are advancing on you, or enemies that are just in close range, pull out your assault rifle or your shotgun and use that. There's no need to snipe someone if you're at a range where none of your assault rifle rounds, even at full auto, are going to miss. Another thing, as far as sniping with the soldier, I recommend you not really play too much as the infiltrator. The infiltrator tends to use the cloak function really often as a way to get him out of trouble rather than get into a situation. And first of all, I don't play my infiltrator like that, really. I try to use my cloak offensively, but you might be tempted to start using Adrenaline Rush defensively, and I highly recommend that you not do that as a soldier. If you are going to use it and not get a kill, use it to get a better position for your Widow, and get you in a better spot for taking those sniper shots. Another thing to note, you'll see oftentimes I'm switching weapons even when the enemy is down to almost 0 health, and that's because I don't think it's really worth it to fire a Widow round when an enemy has little to no health left on them. It's just all about that ammo conservation and making sure that you get the full power out of each of your shots. As far as other weapons you want to take when using the Widow, I highly recommend taking the Collector Assault Rifle. I feel like it fits really well because, as you can see, it has fantastic accuracy at range, and yet it has the rate of fire that you're sort of missing with your other weapons. As far as your shotgun choice, that's a little bit tricky. It's kind of up to you whether you want to sort of continue the idea of using one-shots to finish off enemies. You are going to have heightened Adrenaline Rush on, and so having the Eviscerator might be nice. You might be able to use that and get some one-shot kills with your heightened Eviscerator. But for me, if I had it, I would have taken the Scimitar. That would also help make up for my weakness of having a low rate of fire primary weapon. As far as how often you're going to be using the Widow as compared to the other weapons, I think it has the most overlap with your assault rifles, and so most of the time it's going to be situations where you'll probably take a Widow shot instead of, in other cases, when you would have pulled out the assault rifle. So you can still use your shotgun just as much, but at the same time, because you've taken the Widow, you're likely going to be hanging out towards the back a little bit more in combat, and so it might be a little bit harder for you to engage the enemy with your shotgun. That's why I recommend you still play the commando way, even if you take this weapon, because you want to not trap yourself in a situation where you're having to use your assault rifle out of its range and you don't have any rounds left for your Widow. You'll see throughout this video I never use the Widow really to kill this Praetorian's barrier, and that's just because the Widow doesn't have any sort of innate advantages when attacking barrier. Assault rifles are a little bit better for taking it down, but when I'm in a situation like right now where I know that I'm gonna get a large amount of ammo immediately after this fight, I go ahead and use it because it's still, I believe it's just as fast as using your assault rifle, if not maybe a little faster. I'm not sure. I haven't really gone and tested it out, but right there at the end I didn't have any fear of running out of Widow ammo, so I queued it up. Just another note on heightened versus hardened. The enemies that I'd say specifically you're fighting against that you'll most likely get an advantage from using heightened over hardened are Collector Assassins. That was one enemy that I was always able to one-shot kill with heightened Adrenaline Rush that I could not do with hardened. Another enemy is the Scion. It took a full less shot every time, even if I was using my Widow exclusively and not using the squad main powers. Harbinger also seemed to take one less bullet, although that could have also been because I had squad mates help me out. But basically, you'll get that advantage when you're fighting enemies. I guess you could call them medium enemies. As far as ammo types go, you don't necessarily have to worry about ammo too much, because if you're getting headshots, you're always going to be one-shotting the troopers. Trooper-style enemies, I should say. If you're not one-shotting them, you either don't have the headshot upgrade yet, or you're not actually getting a headshot. Sometimes it can be really unclear as to whether you've gotten a headshot or not, and that's compounded by the fact that a lot of times the soldier is firing without any sort of time slowdown. If you're not using, you don't get any time slowdown if you're not using Adrenaline Rush, and so you might have gotten shot by one little bullet and that just slightly threw off your aim and you wouldn't have even noticed it, whereas if you were playing as Infiltrator, that would be really obvious to you since of the time slowdown. Anyway, I'm Average Gatsby. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me any feedback you like. I try to read everything and respond to direct questions and whatnot, and have a good day.